Hi, this is Rose. And before we begin, have you charged like a bull?
Meet Rose Odette, tech trailblazer, EMR pioneer, and $100 million founder. Her book, Charge Like a Bull, unveils 7 strategies to scale without investors, crush your limits, dominate emerging markets, forge unstoppable alliances. Ready to break through? Get your copy on Amazon now.
Hey, grab your copy of Charge Like a Bull and Charge Like a Bull game plan book. You don't need book 1 to get the game plan book. Skip that 450 pages if you want to get right to work like I usually do. They'll both be out on Amazon waiting for you, and you'll find the link in the show notes. And a sneak peek, if you're more into Audible books, the Audible book will be ready at the end of June of 2025, and I've already listened to the first 30 minutes, and it's amazing. I did not narrate it. I hired a professional actor to narrate it, and thank God I did. Anyway, see you in the podcast. Welcome back to Bullish on Business. So good to see everyone today. And with this podcast, Bullish on Business is about entrepreneurs, people who start businesses, and those disruptors that are out there, in the world, building new businesses, really taking the plunge and really doing the hard stuff and really charging forward with great ideas and big ideas. And today our guest is no different than a lot of the folks that we've had on the podcast. He's just starting his second business, so 2 businesses. And the first one is Luigi, and the second one is Luigi Solutions. And the second one is still going to be going by the same name, or did you have a new name?
It has the same name, but I haven't released the name yet.
Okay, so let's go with Luigi Squared.
Luigi Squared.
There you go. Very cool. And so I just love that. We keep getting ideas. I've had too many to count, and every time I have a new idea, it's usually 3 or 3:30 in the morning, and I'm so inspired. And then by 6 or 6:30, if the idea isn't still percolating, I let it float away. But anyway, his name is Caleb Hagan. How you doing today, Caleb?
I'm doing really good. I'm super excited for this podcast, and it's been about a year since I've done a podcast, so a little bit nervous. I'll give you some slack. The audience and Rose.
Of course. You are a star already. He drove all the way down here from Traverse City, and I'm so happy to have met Caleb. He's such a fresh approach to entrepreneurship, really sincere, really listens and learns every minute, I can tell. He really is designing something very important and very unique that is needed, and that is in the restaurant industry and helping restaurant managers to really inspire them in a kind of a bold, practical frameworks that he has recognized from Alex Hormozi, and who is one of his heroes. And I always like to hear about my friends and co-entrepreneurs' heroes, because that tells you a lot about what motivates them and what turns them on. Now, Caleb hasn't officially launched, as we know, this one system or one part of his business, and that's why this conversation is going to kind of pivot between a couple of ideas, and it's very powerful. So you're going to hear about his raw vision, his spark of the idea, and the mindset that takes what it takes to create something from zero. And we all crave that. We always like to hear the origin story. If you've ever had a business that's swirling around in your head, and this episode will really speak to you and speak to your heart. So let's dive in. Here's where I'm going to start, though, if it's okay with you, Caleb, a little bit off script, but this is something you know. Can you tell us a little bit about you as a human before we get into you as a business person?
Okay. Me as a human, obviously, you guys know I'm pretty young. I'm 26, so I wouldn't say that I'm super solidified on who I am, but I would say that I do know a big part of who I am. I really appreciate honesty. I really appreciate grit. I really appreciate perseverance and courage. Who I am as a person, I guess some of my accomplishments, which kind of helped define who I am. So I went to the Manufacturing Technology Academy in high school, which was really great. Lots of hands-on engineering experience. Got a mentor at a young age, and I was really big into technology, uh, and I'm really interested in business. I'm definitely not like super successful yet, but I'm ambitious. I'm learning a lot about technology, engineering, manufacturing, business. So I guess I don't really necessarily know. I am doing an exercise right now, trying to figure out my core values. So I think I
Awesome.
can probably answer that,
Awesome.
in more
Well,
detail.
oh, later on. Okay, no problem. I love values. Values really tells you a lot about a person. And so with that, we're going to jump into our podcast and really just start with what sparked the idea, the personal pain point or an industry trend. What really sparked inside of you?
Inside of me, okay, that's a little different.
However, it makes sense.
Okay. So originally I was just building websites, just vaguely building websites. I built one for myself. I built one for a lot of local businesses in North Michigan. And my main customer were local restaurants. And I just feel like they can get more value from than just a website. And so then I started thinking of ideas, and I did like some market research, and there's lots of things like Toast or restaurant coaches, restaurant mentors, things like that. But I really want to do something that hasn't been done yet, and I want it to be super impactful. So not only do I want it to be helpful, but I am really motivated on being number one for some reason. That's something that just lights me up. Is I want to be number one at something, and I want to help people improve their restaurant. And so originally the idea was to be more of like a all-in-one thing like Toast is.
What is toast? A lot of our viewers, if they're not familiar with restaurants, what is toast aside from what we eat at breakfast?
Yeah, besides what we eat at breakfast, Toast is a software platform that a lot of restaurants use for marketing or in the kitchen, like ticket managing, electronically, POS system.
Mhm.
It's an all-in-one system. Anything that you think of, Toast has it all in one package for software, hardware, everything. And they're at the number one spot for the quote unquote restaurant technology.
Mhm.
Does that answer the question?
Absolutely. So you've had a lot of restaurant clients, and gotta say that that is a very big market. I mean, like right across the street from my business here, we have a restaurant. Almost every street corner has a restaurant. So you have plenty of clients to knock on their door. So the dream version in your head, what's that?
And yeah, I got some notes, by the way, because if I don't, then I'm go completely la la land.
If we don't use our notes, then we're not authentic. I think, it's because we care. We care a lot, so we wanted to live with the best. And tell us about your dream.
So I don't know the exact format yet, but I know the core has to be about helping operators connect with each other and get practical wins. Whether that ends up being community driven, software driven, or a mix of both, focuses on giving owners clarity, skills, and tools that actually help them cut through noise and see results. And that ties into my vision of being number one is I have to do something that's actually going to benefit them. So that's the way that's
So,
going to get them.
yeah, I'm gonna ask you a question. When you were working with the restaurants and you were like shoulder to shoulder with the managers and maybe the owners and the people who work there, What were some of their pain points that you noticed?
Yeah, okay, so by the way, we're on our third pivot of what the idea was. So one of the biggest pain points that I saw was that managers would, uh, I guess they would be struggling they would have so much focus on getting food in and out of the door that they didn't have time to do other things that drive real impact, or they didn't see, some things they were unwilling to do because they hadn't seen, they hadn't done it before. They didn't want to test it out. So there's some things that basically managers are just spread too thin, and so
Right.
a lot of the problems are they're just focused on getting food in and out of the door and ordering enough food, so they can't really dig deep on
Right.
what would actually improve it instead of it staying the same.
Sure. So, I can understand that. So they are thinking about it from a restaurant perspective. You know, the people walk in the door and they want to be seated right. They want to be given their water or see a waitress or waiter right away. So they are very, very like chop, chop, time crunch, time crunch. And then the food might get cold. So there's another crunch. And then they got to turn the table and get a new person sitting in the table. So they are definitely under the gun for time. And so I can see where they would be reluctant to really stop and take a breath, and because you know their client or their customer, their boss is so demanding.
I think it's just that they're spread too thin between just getting a customer out the door that they don't have time. They don't have time. So in my opinion, the original idea, very precise from third one now,
Mhm.
was that I would sell them a license to handle all the stuff like the marketing and the website as a kind of like a franchise thing. So like they would just pay a monthly license, all that stuff.
Right.
The only other option than to hire someone in house, which I
Right.
think more restaurants should do. I know that they may not think that there's a lot of value in it, but as over the last couple of years, a lot of people have seen the value in and importance of an online presence in marketing.
Right. It's so critical. I think that, yeah. And you know, what comes to mind is, for me on that particular item is what we used to call it IBM, we call it pencil selling. So how much money are they losing and how much would be the return if they did take the time and effort? So let's keep going. How are you deciding what to launch first versus later? That is a perfect question for that follow-up.
Yeah, actually, that's one of the bigger challenges for me is decide which to pursue. Some of it's what I'm transitioning into is learning more to listen to the feedback and to my own vision without completely destroying my own vision. And that's a pretty tough call and kind of I would say tug of war kind
Sure.
of battle.
Yeah, that's got to be tough. And so, what kind of feedback are you getting on some of the from the restaurant managers? What are they having to say about things?
Yeah, so I guess the clearest I've got a lot of different feedback, but the clearest feedback that I can give is I've heard that operators are overwhelmed and don't want complexity for complexity's sake. And what that means is just basically they don't want things to be complicated, and a lot of them have too many tools or too outdated tools. What they value most are practical solutions they can apply tomorrow, proven playbooks, peer insights, or tools that simplify the day to day. That's kind of shaping how I'm thinking about this.
Well, and I just did a response when I was teaching. Well, I had an electronic medical record software. That's what I worked on, and I had the same kickback from the doctors. The doctors did not want to be, you know, interrupted by a keyboard. They wanted to wait, they wanted to take care of patients, and they already felt that there was too much bureaucracy. And so you really had to show value. And when we gave them access to information that they were waiting weeks for so that they could make better decisions. And really, that's the key to information systems. And at the end of the day, that's what we're talking about. Our information systems is what computers do. And so, however we can help them, get what they need quicker and so that they can make better decisions, whether it's, ordering food or whatever. I just love this. I think you really onto something here. So here's a quote that I want to talk about because it's from your hero. Sell it before build it. Before you build it. Have you started testing interest?
Yeah, so I floated the concept and conversations, and a few owners who said they'd be willing to test something, but that was back when it was an all-in-one solution. Since pivoting forward this more community-driven direction, I'm going back to those same people to retest this and see what actually sticks with them before that's.
Okay, so getting more feedback from clients, that's always a good thing.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a quick off-script note here, which is my mentor of 10 years, Mike Grella, he lended me this book called Lean Startup, and that's a key point. And when doing a startup is to validate it, not just be optimistic and set so this is going to work. And people will want it.
Right.
You need to actually go out there,
Test it.
Yeah, test it. People are they think it's a good idea and think about it.
Mhm.
And the more detailed feedback, get the better.
Mhm. That's a good point. Very good point. Because if you build it, they will come doesn't always happen, right?
I agree. Yeah.
That's so true. So what is the hardest part of starting something brand new?
Yeah, I think balancing speed and patience. I'm naturally ambitious, but the hardest part is slowing down. I've always had people tell me that slow down, take more time on things. But I need to validate each step before before adding more on. So
Yeah, take a step. I'll share it with you because this is a give and take. I hope you don't mind. I give you my feedback and kind of a similar thing. So today I met with a lady up in Traverse City, and she is launching a new business too. And hers is, she's from Nashville, Tennessee, and she's launching a media company where they will be streaming videos and music, and her client would be, let's say, Netflix. So her customers. And so I pitched to her a cooking show that I want to do because I have about 30, it's all about spice. And so I pitched her my cooking show today. And this morning, when I was getting ready to leave, and this gets to, whatever, like just do it kind of an environment. We were just going to have lunch. And I met with her about a week ago, first time ever. And I told her about my cooking book, my cookbooks and my cooking ideas. And she kind of liked the idea. And so she's been in the business a long time. So I took about 30 minutes this morning because I already have all the stuff. And I did a quick job of putting a little pitch together for her. And I pitched it to her at lunch, and she loves it. And she's taking it to some big shot producer in Nashville next week. Can you believe it?
No.
But the thing is that unbelievable. And so I was thinking, I could overanalyze this and really second guess myself. I've never done a cooking show. What do I know about cooking shows? Except watching them. And so I think you just gotta do it,
Yeah, that's such a good point. Like feeling like you're not able to do it because you haven't done it before, but I think that's exactly what you should.
But I was so scared. Oh gosh, Caleb. I was like, because I don't really know her that well. Is she gonna think I'm like some pushy person? Is she gonna be overwhelmed? Is she gonna accept it? She really loved it. So that made me happy.
Yeah, like fun.
Thank you. I'll keep you posted. I won't hold my breath though. So,
See, I think her is a proven character trait to have.
yeah.
You want to do something.
I was nervous, but I did it. And she was kind. So 1 year metric and the outcome that makes it worth it. What is that?
So if a few hundred restaurant owners, managers, operators told me that it basically just helped them in any way, whether it's save time, or money, uh, or improve in any way, that would be my key metric.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, you gotta have feedback because what gets measured gets done. And so in measuring whether they save some cash, save some time, even employee morale. This is made, I think a lot of people will feel more encouraged. Like if you lighten the load or make things more efficient, everybody's mood goes up and you'll probably get the morale as well.
Oh yeah.
Which you want to measure maybe. I don't know how you measure that, but I know HR knows how to do that. So creating real connection and value from day one. Do you have a plan for that?
Yeah, my focus on day one is and has been our spark conversation between operators. I try to make it a little as casual as possible. I'm a super analytical overthinker type of person, so I can start with something that they not casual, and then I can turn it into something more casual. And just talking with them. And if I can get a small group actively sharing practical solutions with each other, that'd be far more valuable than having thousands of members who never engage. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I just want to start a smaller group of restaurants that can help each other. Maybe I kind of like facilitate it.
Sure.
And we can just start with something like that. Maybe no tech or little tech initially to
Kind of just a kind of a meetup.
yeah, kind of a meetup type of thing where they can share what's working for them and their neighbors down the street. So the majority of practices, it's actually a pretty small area. They're all neighbors.
Yeah,
So.
they all know each other. Yeah. And it's just growing so much too. So there's some new people too. And every now and then you'll find a restaurant in a building you didn't even know there was a restaurant there. It's incredible. And so I always think that community is so important. And another idea would be kind of they call it a focal group, a focus group. And if you did get a group of people that are willing to be your beta tests and you sort of do a focus on their needs and stay with them for a little while, that'll truly build community. Which is so cool.
And here's another quick point, which is Rose. I know you did that mastermind how long ago?
Last Friday.
Last Friday.
Week before Friday.
Yeah. Rose did a mastermind group, and that was really helpful. You laid out some stuff that was valuable, especially like if I want to be more specific, the 7 bold moves. I was like, that is really a genius way to look at it. What are some really bold things that I can do in my business? So thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. And I hope that we can continue to. And we're doing the podcast today, and we see each other at events. And I think that when you find people like Caleb is helping me as much as I helped him, and thank you for that feedback, because you showing up and helping and giving me that feedback or letting me have you on the podcast, and I learned just as much or more from you, because it's been a while since I've been in your shoes, and things change every day. The world is so different, and you're working in a totally different industry, whereas there's similarities, but there's some differences that you will run across that we can all learn from. So lessons. Any lessons that you want to share with us from what you with your restaurant experience?
Yeah, this one is more of just an analogy, not an actual story, but working in restaurants teaches resilience. Like when the fryer breaks on a Friday night, you still have to serve 200 guests.
Oh no, that sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah. The ability to adapt under pressure, solve problems fast, because I've spent about like 5 years actually just working for restaurants. And just me personally, there's been times where it's like you really want to go off on customers
Yeah.
and you don't. You gotta have like they're the ones that are waiting for their order. They're the ones that pay
Right,
money
right.
to stay grounded in resilience. Or something.
It's so important. You know, I worked in restaurants too. My first job was at McDonald's.
I wasn't. Wait, yeah, you did mention
Yeah, I
that.
worked at McDonald's, and then I worked at a fancy restaurant in Cadillac for banquets and all that, but they went bankrupt and never paid me. You know, I'll never forget that. So, yeah, and that was during college, and I worked through the whole Christmas really hard because, you know, Christmas parties, banquets and all that, and not a penny.
Jeez,
And I was a student. Yeah,
a month's worth of pay.
yeah. I never got paid, and they went bankrupt, and I don't know.
That's terrible.
I didn't have a lawyer or anything, and I just went back to school, and now I have a story to tell on this podcast. Oh, but I love being a waitress. I worked as a waitress down in Dallas when I was another college break, and I just loved being a waitress. I loved going up to the table and meeting the people and finding out what they wanted and to help them. I don't know, it just turned me on. I loved it.
There's probably customers that dislike.
Oh, I had some customers that, well, I remember when I was working at McDonald's and cocaine was brand new. And this guy kept coming in and wanting these baby straws from the coffee, you know, or whatever. And he was awful. So yeah, there was some. And then I remember when I was working at the fancy restaurant at lunchtime, all these ladies who were elderly would come in, and they were called the Optimist Club. And we would set them, like there would be 12 or 14 of them at a table. And they would always want, like, I want a tuna fish sandwich, and I want it on whole wheat with no butter, nothing. And I want a cup of tea. And I was like, no problem. And they would all, like, it was time to give me my tip. And honestly, each one of them would give me a dime. So they look in their little change purse and put a dime out there. And I was like, they were sweet, but oh man, did that get old after about, you know, the 16th week of the Optimist. Oh,
I completely resonate on the story. It's similar to that.
yeah. Okay, well. So how about any advice, you know, for other people that, you know, got out there in this whole bullish on business world, looking at their own startup? Any advice for them?
Yeah. I'll try to keep it short, but yeah, just start. Just start. Don't try to make it perfect. Don't try to make it perfect. Persevere. Don't get discouraged if you get no's, you get yeses. If you're successful, figure out why. Figure out why. So yeah, I guess the big three would be just character traits of courage, perseverance, and resourcefulness. So
That's so wise.
like for me personally, I'm not someone with deep pockets, so I need to be very resourceful, strategic, and just do stuff. But there's so many people out there that are well off or have needed or have been there, done that, that are really willing to help us on reach out and we actually their advice. Because for me, I still am hard-headed, but I used to not take people's advice. But I learned that it's really good to listen to other people and take their advice, especially if they've been there, done that.
Exactly. That's so wise. But it does take a minute to check it at the door. I've been there, you know. And I think you're smart because you don't just take anything, but you look at their background. Like they've been there, they've done that, they're saying this. And if you don't agree, challenge them in a kind and understanding way. Say, well, how do you mean? And I think that that's great advice. Thank you for that. And so I just want to thank Kale for coming down and being on our podcast today. I was just wanting to talk about the Tom. Who is Tom Eastman?
All right, so this is a quick story. I don't know how much time we have
You
left,
have all the time you want.
but I actually don't know who that is, besides the fact that he was a professor for Harvard business division school, whatever fancy words, and he was really smart, and so he led that group, and basically he wrote this. All right, let me backtrack. So now you know who he is. The story is a couple days ago, I got a package in the mail out of the blue, and I haven't ordered anything from Amazon in 3 months, so I had no idea who sent it. And I opened the book up, and it's called "Why Startups Fail" by Tom Eisen. I read the first couple pages, but I'm really curious to know whoever sent that. If you're watching, by the way, thank you, whoever sent that book.
That's pretty cool. You've got an angel.
Yeah, I've got them. Just like all the people that have helped me so far. I want to mention shout outs, but
Absolutely. Keep going.
and then so that was great. And
And I know you're a big fan of Alex.
yep, perfect transition. So Alex Hormozy just came out with his latest and greatest book. You've probably seen advertisements.
Oh.
I messaged people at my network about it, and they're like, yeah. Most of the people that have seen it are like, yeah, I've seen his stuff, but I'm not really sold yet. And then I go off my whole tangent about stuff that I've applied from.
So tell me what he's done to make you such a fan, a raving fan.
Yeah, so initially I thought what a lot of other people think, which is that he's kind of looked like he appears initially as like a guy, especially because of the title of his books and the advertisements that he does.
Mm-hmm.
But once you actually
So what are the titles of his books?
there's 3 books. The first one is $100 million leads. The second one is $100 million offers, and then the third one is $100 million money models. So the first one teaches you how to get strangers to want to buy your stuff, like how to get leads. The second one offers teaches people how to build compelling offers, so that way people feel stupid saying no. And then the third one is the models behind the business. So
Ooh,
uh,
business models.
yeah, business models.
Is that the one that just launched?
It just came out. I am a fanboy, so I got VIP for the launch. That guy, he went for 9 hours, 9 hours and 58 minutes on a live.
On his launch
on
day?
his launch day, talking about his book, the deals. It was a perfect course on just sales, business, and like his amount of just hard work is probably the biggest hero part. I mean, he'll put his head down for so long to create all these books, and he gives off so much value. And there's a lot of concepts in his books I've implemented in real life.
Awesome. I love that.
That's where I channel, having dug deep into his content.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there's got to be something to it. He's very popular, and that's amazing. So, let's talk about Jim.
Yeah, so this is the kind of the sort of like the last points that I have. So I just want to do some shout outs. So Jim, and we can do some talking about it too.
Sure, I'll give you my feedback.
So Jim is a score mentor. So there's kind of some fine lines he can't take any pay from it, but he can
Right.
still contribute because he has owned Arby's franchise locations, owner for 45 years, plus independent restaurants of his own. So he's just given me valuable guidance on operations, scaling, feedback in general. And I had a Google Meet with him recently, and he's really stoked about the concept. And he's like, I've never heard of that. Like,
Right. What a great mentor, because he's worked in the industry.
yeah, I'm super
Wow.
blessed.
And where did you find him?
Through Score, I just went to the Score website, and there were specific people that I wanted to be mentored by with certain expertise. So I just kind of filtered that on Score, and
So is he not from Traverse City then? Is he local or
he's from Selma.
Sotheby's from, but not Traverse City? Wonderful. Wow. Good. That is so resourceful. So there's a takeaway. Take a note. Yes, free Score. And Score is a retired executives who donate their time to help startups. Smart. That was a very smart move on your part, Caleb.
Yeah, definitely. All these people, I either just blessed to meet. All these people, actually, I was blessed to meet. Some of them accidentally, and some intentionally. In my life, but
Who's Mike? Mike Rulo.
yeah, Mike Grollo. He's the principal and chief analytics officer, and I had to put that in notes because I would not memorize that. And, at RJT. He's got 20 years of business ownership.
What is RJG?
They are the world's largest plastic injection molding company. So they produce plastic parts, plastic injection molding technology.
Where's that?
Right up Park Drive
In Traverse City.
in Traverse City. So
Oh, I had no idea.
think of like, you know where the apartment,
Yeah. Yep.
well, they changed.
Yes, a furniture store on the corner
Yeah, it's on that same road. But
by 7-Eleven.
yes.
Yeah, kind of
Very close.
Okay.
Uh,
Steve? Who's Steve Starlin?
Yeah, and then the only other person I want to
Oh,
mention
okay.
before I kind of skip over Jared.
Oh, Jared, yeah.
Jared Wesley, I think you met him at
Yeah,
21
yeah.
before.
I actually saw him today.
Good.
At Oops.
Is he doing good?
Yeah, he's great.
Um, Jared is a tech founder, software guy. Did a lot of government to government software. And so he's helped me along the way. I've reached out to him to gave me guidance on outreach strategy, development, validation, overall kind of strategy. It's been more than invaluable. What he shared to me, I've also passed on to others, which is great.
Good.
Yeah, Steve Starlin, he's a technical platform architect at Bittrex. So he's basically an independent software developer. He has 10 years of experience in custom multi-platform software development, consulting, supporting technical insights, development guidance. Pete Martin, a lot of you might know him already. He's big in the startup community. Blessed to meet him. My favorite thing about Pete is his energy and the good vibes that it's just so inspiring, and how he passes down all the success that's going on, and that I don't know, he just puts that you can do it too kind of thing.
He does. I really like him. He's very charismatic.
Yes, that's the word. But he's helped mentor, advise him, and
Are you doing on demo day?
Yeah.
So am I.
You are?
Yeah,
Oh, cool.
down in Detroit.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. Yeah.
It's a big deal, and I'm really nervous, and I'm trying to figure out.
Have you gotten any feedback from them since you put in your app?
No.
Me neither.
But I was also late though, because I think the cutoff date was,
First or something, I don't know.
but I was late and I didn't know about it till after. And I definitely will go to it the next time they have it too.
Yeah.
So this is.
So you're gonna go as a or as a watcher, like a spectator?
I put both. I signed up for both.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't feel like I was ready for it, but I'm trying to challenge myself to put what I have out there.
Good. You might as well try.
So I think for me this time, I'm probably going to be more of I already think I'm going to fail on there, but just because I've never done it before, but at least I'll learn a lot. Just the courage to do it.
Right. Yeah. So on demo day is a day hosted down in Detroit. There, it's too late to sign up, like Caleb said, to pitch your business, but you definitely can sign up to go be a spectator. And I think it's a 2-day event where there's just it's a pitch fest.
Yeah. Yeah.
In front of real venture capitalists, the real deal. They got big money to give or to invest. And so I heard about it from Will Kitchen, and he's going to be there too with his business. So that's very cool.
Yep. I do. If you do sign up on time as a startup, you can also get one-on-one.
So how did Pete help you with that?
I was just telling him where I was at, and that I just told him I'm trying to prep for our demo day. I've done it before, and I knew that he was familiar with it. So
did he like help you out somehow? What did he do?
Yeah, he gave me advice on. He said, I'll share it. Which is that most of his advice basically just talk to people and get it validated. See if people want it, what value they're going to get from it, and then what they're willing to pay. So pretty much just gauging interest, what exactly do they want, and how much would they pay for.
Awesome. Very good advice. And I like Bradley Matson. He's amazing too. Talk about Bradley.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. Okay, so I think 3 years ago I met Bradley at TC New Tech, I want to say.
Yeah.
I just started a conversation with him, and I don't think I met, like, I was like, yeah, we definitely should, start meeting. But 3 years ago, I was way more lost than I. But today, over the last year, I've met with him quite a few times. I'd like to participate potentially in an accelerator at some point.
Okay.
But he's been really helpful in developing MVP strategy. This way, 2+ years. He's been a startup coach, guidance across all aspects of my startup world, especially pitch deck. He's given me valuable tips on my pitch deck. I'm not that good naturally at pitch decks. Talk about too many details, and I need to work on like the story part of it. That's where my weak point is not. So that was helpful. But he gave me a very detailed response on what we should fix.
Very helpful.
And for me and probably a lot of other founders can resonate that pitch deck is one of the most overwhelming thing because you need to practice it so much and so long, it takes so much time, and you have to make a different version for every person that or crowd that you're going to present it to.
Yeah. So what accelerators, can you remember any of the accelerators he mentioned?
Yeah, so he works with MSU Accelerator.
Okay. Yeah, I know he's at Michigan State.
It's called Conquer, so that's what it's called.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah. Then next is almost done.
No, this is your time.
Zach Gerlacher, shout out to him too. I met him a couple of years ago at TC Tech by accident, and then when I got to know him, I just was completely, my reality was completely shattered of what is possible. Because the first day that I ever met him, I was like, "Oh, so what do you do?" He's like, "Oh, I just recently exited for $2 billion." And like in my head, I'm like, I had never met someone personally that has done something that incredible, and that was just reality shake. But
Where'd you meet him?
TC New Tech. For those who don't know, he's an advisor and software scaling expert. He's helped lead software companies to billion-dollar exits, not once but 4 times. Duo Security, Zendesk, MySQL, Active Software. He's helped generate over 20 billion in shareholder returns, supports consumer. Oh, sorry. And for me specifically, he's helped support my consumer research and validation. He agreed to be an occasional advisor. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh man, it's crazy saying that. I'm so blessed to have his expertise. And what I really like about Zach, conversations that I've had with him, is that he really knows how to make me sound stupid by it, which I am for overcomplicating it. He makes it so simple. He's like, no, just make it. He just has a way of making it so simple. So.
Hey, you are a good mentee.
And then Ron Ricker, he's kind of the youngest of the advisors, mentors. He's a systems. I just met him recently. He's a systems infrastructure engineer and cybersecurity, supporting infrastructure strategy, security, and tech resilience. So he really knows the nitty gritty of backend tech stacks, how to wire things, stuff like that together. I consider myself a tech person, but I think he has a lot more knowledge on tech side. 20 Fathoms crew, of course, you know them. 20 Fathoms is really helpful. They have that's resource to founders is startup coaching. Awesome. And they're phenomenal. So shout out to them. They've helped as well. And then the last 2 techs, he's also a sport mentor. Rose also.
Yeah, he's great. He's very diverse background, politics, mayor of a city downstate, really loves Northern Michigan and wants to see Northern Michigan thrive, including you.
Yeah, he's fun to talk to.
Yeah, he's a great person.
And then last but definitely not least, a couple of years ago, I had Doug Morganson as a sport mentor, and I don't know when he came on Northern Michigan angel investor, but he's been a coach for a couple of years now. when I was doing websites, he helped me decide on this pivot. So it's helped me with my strategy, execution, and guidance.
Well, Caleb, I just think you are a sponge for advice and you apply what people have told you. I am so proud to know you, and I think you have such a bright future. And I love your idea. It's desperately needed with the restaurants in their time crunch, hustle bustle. There's something you can do to really alleviate that struggle. Wow, what a great idea. What a great number one idea. So I think that'll be fantastic. And God bless you.
Thanks.
And I think you're going to be such a superstar, which you already are.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate all those words.
It's the truth. And so with that, I'm going to ask you if you have any final words you'd like to share.
No, just yeah, to any of the audience, if you want to connect with me, I have pretty much every social media platform there is. So Caleb Hagen, KALOBHAGEN. I'm willing to learn from you if you want to pass on your expertise. I'm willing to choose well. They go both ways, I may be young, but I know some stuff, I promise.
He does.
And
We're going to put all his details in the show notes, so you'll be able to see those. And when it's going to be on YouTube, we're going to be on Facebook, we'll be on LinkedIn, we'll be on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, you name it, you'll be able to find us.
Yep.
So,
thank you, Rose, too, for having me.
Oh, you betcha. No problem. It's my pleasure to get to work with you, and hopefully we'll continue to collaborate.
Yeah.
Okay. With that, we're going to say goodbye.
Yeah.